Hey everyone, how are you? We're back for Sunday night. It's good to see you all. Maria, hey, she says she made it for tonight's live. Yay. Angela says I thought Ping said 10 p.m. Sunday is around 10:30 Eastern. I pinch Trisha's spot on a Sunday night because she's not on. So yeah, there you go. So remember, Sundays 10:30. Hey Juniper, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Laurie, good to have you. Nana Lana. Peekaboo Cockatiel, Marilyn Landis. Alicia, how are you, my friend? It's good to see you. I hate mornings. I hate mornings. She does hate mornings. Don't doubt her. She really does. All right. Obviously, a lot of you would have already seen the very sad news about Dr. Michael Mosley. About 8 p.m. Australian time last night, news started filtering through that they had found a body, and the location was really kind of tragic in a way. It was so close to safety, very close to where people had walked past 100 times in the last few days looking for him. So it feels like missed opportunity in some ways. It feels like sad for his family because apparently they were out there only 300 yards from his body and had no idea. So I find that really awful. I've got a video here. Now, this report does contain footage of Dr. Mosley being taken away by a recovery team. That is your warning. This is from Sky News UK. I don't think it's graphic. I just think it's the recovery operation. All right, warning, let's go.
It was as if the island of Simi fell silent. A man's body was carefully wrapped before being brought down to the shore. A 50-meter journey he didn't end up making himself. Greek authorities say the body is that of Michael Mosley, a doctor and health reporter who frequented our airwaves for years. Closely following his body, plastic bags holding his belongings, a cap he was wearing, and his backpack. It brought a somber end to a search that had lasted 4 days and 4 nights, the longest and most unbearable for his family. Today, his wife said, "We're taking comfort in the fact that he so nearly made it. He did an incredible climb, took the wrong route, and collapsed where he couldn't be easily seen by the extensive search team. Michael was an adventurous man. It's part of what made him so special. I feel so lucky to have our children and my amazing friends. Most of all, I feel so lucky to have had this life with Michael." Behind me, that is St Nicholas Beach, where Dr. Mosley started his journey on Wednesday. He then walked towards Peddy Marina, where he was last seen on CCTV. And police believe he carried on walking north. And you can see just how the terrain changes to become much more rocky. A helicopter had hovered over the area for hours, but failed to spot anything. In the end, it was this local journalist who caught it on camera.
We were a little bit closer, about 200 meters from the shot. I also zoomed in. It was again shaky. I wasn't 100% sure, but I told them, I think there's something there. And with an iPhone, we took a photo and we zoomed. And there was the body. He was laying down with his hand on his belly, the watch, and he's carrying his bag on the other hand.
It was the end nobody had wanted.
I wish I never got the shot and the person was alive. I'm really sorry for the family.
You know, that guy actually took a photo of something else earlier and they didn't know what it was. And I think he thought it was an umbrella and they sort of went, oh, it's, whatever. And then they came around again and they took another photo and they saw something black. And then they were like, hey, we should probably check this out a little more. And that's sort of how they found him. But you can see in this area, I'll show you this screenshot back here. Where is it? Not that one. Not the one. Where's the one? That's not the one I was wanting. I wanted the one where it's on the other side. Let's see if we can find it quickly. You can see that retaining wall in front of where they found him. It makes sense why if you were on the water or on this other side, you wouldn't have been able to see him because of this concrete. So there's like a bit of a ditch here. And if he was right down near this concrete barrier, it's so easy to miss, right? You can see if you're on the other side, you can't see anything. You may not have, you could have walked straight past him, maybe never even saw it. So I get why, um, I get why people missed it because of the situation with this fence and then this little barricade. If you're on the other side, you wouldn't be able to see. His body was quite decomposed. Well, not to be graphic, but it's 30, 40 degrees during the day, really stinking hot out there, and he's been gone for about 5 days. So, you know, we know what that means in true crime. We've done enough cases to, we've all listened to Body Bags. We've all listened to Joseph Scott Morgan tell us what happens. Shock says, I guess I'll do an autopsy. I would figure they might. It is a unexpected death, although he is over 60 years old, and sometimes they don't. But he is a foreign national who died while on holiday. I don't know. Maybe it's up to the family. I'm not sure. But normally, if it's under 50 and it's unexplained, they will do a automatic autopsy. He's a little older. I just don't know. I hope so, just to know what happened to him. Hey, Danny Mitchell, how are you? Who climbs rocks in the heat? Hey, I guess we all do silly things while we're on holidays, right? We want to go and explore. We don't want the weather to be getting in the way or whatever. I'm not sure. I've seen a couple of theories proposed. I've seen a couple that he maybe just succumbed to the heat and that he tried to get back to safety after realizing he was unwell in the heat and eventually collapsed. I've seen a couple that said he may have tripped and done something else. I think right now it's all speculative until we find out from a medical examiner. 67, yeah, he was almost 70, almost made it to 70. What a legendary life. Hey, Shad, how are you? Good to have you. Red like wine. Hey, good to have you. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully for his family. I know his wife released a statement saying he almost made it back home. Here, I've got the statement on my Twitter. I can read it to you. This is not the full statement. This is just part of it. She said, "We're taking comfort in the fact that he so very nearly made it. He did an incredible climb, took the wrong route, and collapsed where he couldn't be easily seen by the extensive search team." Yeah, that area where on the screen right here is just you wouldn't see it. It looks like there's another retaining wall up the top there, right up that top area. There looks like there's something else there. So I get it. It's probably very. I'll take that off the screen. It would have been difficult. Yeah, his wife is a doctor too. They married. I think they met on the. I watched something last night that said they met very early on in his career at medical school. Either at medical school or at his first job in TV. I can't remember, but they met many, many years ago. They had a bunch of children. They were both very accomplished, and he will be a loss to a lot of people. Yeah, no wonder he couldn't be seen. I know. Even I was racking my brain yesterday going, if they got a helicopter and dogs. By the way, I heard yesterday a rescuer broke their leg after they tripped on one of the rocks. Then one of the search sniffer dogs actually burnt its paws on the hot ground and had to be evacuated and taken to a vet. So a few people who were looking for him actually got injured too. He was diabetic. There was some rumor that he wasn't feeling so great earlier in the day or around when he went missing. So I think we've all heard that story of someone who went, I don't feel so great. And then they just never woke up. They went and had a nap and never woke up. I think we've all heard that little antidote in our lives before. So maybe something like that. 100 degrees. Yep. They were going through a bit of a mini heat wave at the time. That is a stinking hot day, especially out on an island where there's not a lot of tree canopy or anything to provide you with any sort of relief from the heat. That is bearing heat. We get it down here where I live. We get a lot of 100-degree days, 110 down here, and they are just brutal. You can cut the air with a knife. It feels like the outside atmosphere is so hot and thick. It's just, I hate it. I hate it when it happens down here. I don't know if it's humid there, but that's what it feels like down here when it happens. Red Like Wine says, I've known several people who've had sudden deaths in the last 2 years. I think yeah, we're not going to get into that. Sorry. I don't want all the people coming here, and I don't want to start a political / medical / conspiracy / cooker / who's a cooker, who's not a cooker, whatever. We just don't do that here. Red Like Wine says, I hate the heat. Yeah, I hate the heat too. Can't stand it. Angela says, I remember all the tar on the road melting in Australia. Not just tar, but train lines would buckle in the heat, and they couldn't run the trains to take people home because the train lines would literally bend in the heat. They would either warp or bend, and the train couldn't go along. Pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Hey, Danny Mitchell, I appreciate it. Super sticker from my friend Danny Mitchell. That is very kind of you. Let me see what sticker it is. For some reason, it doesn't show me on StreamYard. An upside down face. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. It's very kind. I think we'll learn more as we go along. That's what I'll say on that subject, Red Like Wine. I think we'll all learn a little more as we go along. And, there was actually a study out the other day. If you're interested in that, there was a study recently that came out, I think Thursday. Danny Mitchell says, I used to live in Phoenix. It was hell. Yeah, you guys have that massive monsoon season that's actually coming up. I think it's, is it like August, September? July, August, September. You guys have that monsoon, and it gets just super hot, and then they get these afternoon sort of thunderstorms that pick up in the desert. They can pick up like dust and sand, and the whole city just gets covered in like a haboob or a dust storm. They get all these great photos out of Arizona from it. Red Like Wine says, I'm in southeast Louisiana and it's hell right now. Is it already starting to pick up temperature going into summer? Let's have a look. Louisiana temp. Oh, are you kidding? Wow. Hold on. Right now? They're saying right now in Louisiana it's 29 degrees. Isn't it like 9 p.m. at night over there? That is a hot night if that's what the temperature is. Yeah, you guys look like you're going to have only a low of 26 overnight. That's your low temp at about 5 a.m. in the morning, and then you're straight back into it in the morning. By 1 p.m. tomorrow, you're back into the 90s. So you guys are having a real heat wave. Ugh. I hope you can stay cool. Heat index was 106. Yucky. You guys are right on the Gulf too, which means you get a lot of moisture inflow from the Gulf of Mexico, which drives a lot of your humidity over that region, which means it's just oppressive when it gets hot, real oppressive. So I hope you have aircon. I really do. Or a swamp cooler. In your climate, a swamp cooler would probably work pretty well because it would draw the water out of the air. Might work pretty good. Doesn't work in dry heat very well. Very humid, yeah. Angela says that's a high in Scotland. I find it interesting that in England, they often say, oh, it's a red alert day. It's going to be 22 degrees tomorrow. We're going to issue from the Met a heat wave warning. And I'm like, at 22 degrees? Really? I'm like, that's just like a mild day in Australia. It's like it's not even hot. It's just like a spring day, and they're like all over Sky News. They're like heat wave warning, 22 degrees, and I'm like, what is going on over there? Melody says Phoenix is growing like crazy. I can't imagine why. I think you know what it is. I think it's cheap housing. Housing in Arizona is quite cheap. I have friends who live there, and they literally just bought houses for like 180,000. Really nice houses too. I have another friend there that bought a really beautiful, like those typical orange brown Arizona type homes that you see everywhere. 220,000, and it's beautiful. It's like 5 bedrooms, got a huge backyard. And there's a lot of work. A lot of tech companies are moving from places like San Francisco, California, San Diego, and moving down into Arizona because cost of living is cheaper and they can get more workers to work for them. So a lot of tech companies are moving out of the West Coast areas and moving a little further away where they can actually get workers. Because if you want to live in San Francisco, you can't freaking live there. You're getting paid 150 grand a year from your tech company. You can barely rent an apartment. You'd have to share with like 4 people. So, yeah. Peekaboo Cockatiel says it depends on where in Arizona. Yeah, I know there's more expensive places than others. There's some that are really expensive, like, you know, prices that you would, we probably couldn't afford. But there's a lot of cheap housing out there, and I think the cost of living is slightly lower than, say, if you were in San Diego, California, San Francisco, maybe even Seattle. So Angela says it's a different heat. I've been on holiday. Like it may say 30 degrees in Scotland, but it might be 25, but it feels hotter than the temperature. Yeah, I think it's you guys get interesting heat that comes across from Europe. Anyway, why are we talking about weather? Let's go to true crime. You guys get me onto weather all the time. I think we should we should open a weather channel and do like a weekly weather show. All right, let's see what else we've got. What other updates? Well, that was the update about Michael. I think that is horrible. Hold on, let's see. What is this? Dr. Michael Mosley's body found in Greece. Yep, health guru nearly made it to safety. Actually, before we get off Michael Mosley's thing, this article just came out in Australia. It says Dr. Michael Mosley's body found in Greece. Health guru nearly made it to safety. Yep, that was the statement I read to you. So he took a wrong turn and it led him into a very bad situation. Apparently, his backpack was found approximately 6 meters uphill from his body, sparking theories about the possible cause of his death just 100 meters from safety. According to The Sun, theories on the ground suggest Dr. Mosley was either trying to reach the resort or heading towards the sea to cool down in the 37-degree temperatures before collapsing and injuring his head. Yeah, that would be an interesting scenario to try and work out whether did he fall and that's how he succumbed, or did he collapse from something like the heat and then he naturally fell because he had no control over his body? And does that play a part in the way they would determine how he died? Or would they just say it was, misadventure or something? That would be interesting to find out. A coroner from the mainland in Greece traveled to the island and ruled out anything suspicious. Good. CCTV footage captured the British TV doctor extremely close to safety before he seemed to collapse at the spot where his body was found on Sunday. How very sad. The health guru 67 was tragically found just 100 meters from the shoreline and beach resort at the base of the Rocky Mountain, but was not on a designated pathway. The unreleased footage, as seen and reported by The Sun, captures Dr. Mosley in motion at 3:44 p.m. local time, 2 hours and 15 minutes after he left his wife. That is a long time from when he was seen at 1:30 in that town. That is about 2 hours later. Where's he been for 2 hours? In the sun? That is not good. That is like the hottest part of the day. His last known sighting was in that town on the Greek island. Yep, around 2 p.m. So yeah, it means he was in the mountainous terrain for around 1 hour and 45 minutes. That's a long time to be out in the sun. That CCTV, I hope they never release. I hope they keep that and just, for investigative purposes and maybe just show the family if they wanna see it, and I hope it never makes it to daylight. We don't need to see it. I think we've seen enough, and there's nothing that we can gain, as a society, as a true crime people, by witnessing that downfall of this man. I don't think there's anything to gain from it personally. What are you going to see? An older man collapse and fall. Wow. I think, what would that do for anyone? Shock says, I don't understand. Was he lost? They said he might have taken a wrong turn. He may have supposed to go one way and went the other and then ended up all over this mountainous area. Hey, Laura, how are you? Hey, Penguin, how are you, my friend? Yeah, he wasn't on the right. He took a wrong turn. Yeah. I wondered that too because he'd gone for quite a long walk, right? So that he left earlier in the day. He'd already been out with his wife earlier on in the morning and around midday. So had he had lunch? Had he eaten? Had he, had breakfast or anything yet? Those are things I guess the medical examiner will figure out. Oh yeah, I've had pretty bad sunstroke before from working outdoors. It can really mess with you. It can make you just almost delirious, but you think you're in control, but you're really not, and it's really dangerous. We get it a lot down here in Australia. Hey Kathy, how are you? I hope you're feeling okay. Hope you're feeling okay, my friend. I would say probably not. I would think he probably wasn't expecting to go for so long and was probably thinking he was just going to take this walk and head back and try get into an air conditioned, apartment or something. So I would suggest he probably didn't have enough on him for a 3-hour trek in 40-degree heat. Yeah, he started that fasting type of lifestyle, thought that it had benefits for people who suffered from diabetes, but also other medical conditions, and that it could benefit humans in a way of controlling weight, but also, fitness and things like that. He did a great way of doing that. Red Like Wine says, Ping, you are like a cat and had 9 lives. You had heat stroke? Yeah, a few times actually. I was a very stupid kid when I was younger, and I used to go out in the heat and run around and go walking for 2 hours in the 40-degree heat, thinking I was invincible, and then I would come home and pass out. Yeah, intermittent fasting. I've never tried it, but a lot of people have good results with it. So thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. All right, I think that's about it. I really don't have a, a lot more, but very sad to hear about the person who broke their leg, and then very awful to hear about the puppy dog, the sniffer dog, who burnt its little paws on the hot ground, and they had to take it to a vet. There's that CCTV of him with an umbrella. That would have helped a little bit. So there you go. That's it. That's all I have. Yeah, they saw him from the boat with I think they had a camera and they were zooming in with the powerful zoom on the camera trying to see what the hell this dark object was about 300 meters away. And they were like, what is that? What is that? And eventually they went and had a closer look. Hold on, guys. I need some water. All right, there we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, I agree. Anytime you lose someone who, one, provides a public service like he did for a lot of his life. Look, he got rich off it. I saw a tax return for his company online last night. By the way, why would someone release that in his death? Like, what does that achieve? But he had like millions of pound in the bank, so he did very well. And but he did help people and tried to get them to live a healthier life. So he will be missed by a lot of people. All right. No, it does not get counted twice. It shouldn't unless you're on two different accounts. It'll only count once. Yeah, someone, I don't know why that person released it, but someone released, I think his company's called, I can't remember what it's called, like the Healthy People or something. And they released it showing like what shares he has and his total revenue over 21, 22, 23. I think it was pretty tacky. I don't think it matters where he made his money as long as it was legitimate and he's not like a crook or something. It doesn't really, it's no one's business. Yeah, it's pretty rude. Pretty rude. All right, let's go back to America for a bit. Let's go back to America. Where's my story from America? Here. I wanted to talk about this one. I thought this was interesting. Let's see if it says former PD lieutenant loses
Kansas
certification for pawning department issued guns. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Have you? Let's see if this, I don't know if this is one about it. Hold on.
Kansas police officer rather loses his law enforcement certification years after pawning his department issued guns. Last month, the state revoked the certification of former City of Sedgwick Lieutenant Brylan Marks. Brandon Stick joining us now with how this case started 6 years ago, Brandon.
That's right, Rachel. Braylon Marks was first arrested in 2018 for felony theft from the city of Sedgwick. At the time of his arrest, he served as a lieutenant with the Sedgwick Police Department. Now, according to court documents, in 2020, Marks was charged in Harvey County, with 3 counts of felony theft of firearms owned by the city. Those charges were dismissed in February of this year. The reason for that dismissal is not clear. In a May 9th order revoking Marks' law enforcement certification, the Commission on Peace Officers and Standards and Training says that Marks admitted to a Harvey County sheriff investigator that he'd pawned department-issued patrol rifles and other firearms because he was struggling financially.
Growing up, Zaylin Washington will tell you the odds were never in his favor. Early life was filled with a series of upheavals between parents in and out of jail and a brief stint in foster care.
So at the time,
So that is very interesting. I don't know if I've heard of anyone being charged over selling their service weapon. It's very interesting. He was arrested in 2018 for felony theft from the city. Marks was serving his leadership position with the police department when he was arrested. In 2020, he was charged in Harvey County with 3 counts of felony theft of firearms owned by the city. Early last year, those charges were dismissed. The reason for the dismissal wasn't clear, but in May 9th order revoking Marks' law enforcement certification, the Commission on Peace Officers Standards and Training said Marks admitted to investigators with the Harvey County Sheriff's Office that he pawned a department-issued patrol rifle and other firearms because he was struggling financially. Wow, you would think that how much would it cost to, you know, be a police officer? Do they pay much? I have no idea. Let's see, city of what city was it? Harvey County. Let's see if we can find out what they pay a police officer. What is their salary? Harvey County. So the average, so he was in a leadership position. This is probably a little probably low because he was in a higher rank. But here it says the average base salary is around $92,000 a year. That's that's a decent wage. It's pretty big for middle America. There's a lot of people that earn less than that. They earn around, I think the average medium income for some of these places is like $32,000 a year. So you're earning well above that medium income. It's a lot of, I mean, you don't know what kind of liabilities this guy had, I guess. But there you go, 92,000 a year. So salaries can vary widely depending on region, the department, and many other factors, including the employee's level of education, certifications, and additional skills. So there you go. I don't know. You would think that would be a decent income for a person, but if he felt like he had to sell firearms, it's yeah, they belong to the police department. So, I mean, they were his service weapons, I think, some of them. Some of them he just took. Pretty bad, pretty bad. Stealing from the city. Imagine if they had like a big, what would you call it? Like a big, I don't know, a big event, and they're like, let's go to the armory room and get all our guns. And then they go there and they're like, there's one for Scott, there's one for Mark, there's one for this guy. And they go around the room and they hand out firearms, and they're like, wait, we're missing like 5 people worth of firearms. That would be awful in like an emergency situation. All right, there you go. That's that one I wanted to do. That was supposed to do that yesterday. I think that's interesting. I've never heard of someone being charged for taking firearms and pawning them from a police department ever. I don't think I've ever heard that. Then we've got this one. 4th victim of rural Lynn County murderers die from injuries. So I don't remember this one or watching it, but we'll go over it. It says here the Lynn County Sheriff's Office reports Brent Brown, the 4th victim of an attack that killed 3 others on Wednesday, has died from his injuries. The medical examiner pronounced Brent dead on Friday. He was 34 years old. Luke Truesdell, okay, is now charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Officials said the attack happened on Wednesday, where police found 3 people dead in an outbuilding at the 3600 block of East Otter Road in northern Lynn County. Investigators said that he admitted to beating 4 people with a metal pipe. He's expected to make an appearance in court on Monday on that new 4th murder charge. Brown's body will be transported to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. The investigation into the incident continues. Let's watch the video here.
30 starts now.
We have breaking news tonight. The 4th victim in a brutal attack that killed 3 people last Wednesday in rural Lynn County has died from his injuries. 34-year-old Brent Brown of Marion went to the hospital on Wednesday in critical condition. We know now that he passed away from his injuries 2 days later on Friday. On Wednesday, officials responded to the 3600 block of East Otter Road in northern Lynn County, where they found Ramadis Cooper, Kiana Ryan, and Amanda Parker dead in an outbuilding. Luke Truesdell is now charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in relation to those deaths. Investigators say Truesdell admitted to beating 4 people with a metal pipe. He is expected to make an appearance in court tomorrow on that new 4th charge of first-degree murder. This afternoon, family and friends of one of the victims, Amanda Parker, gathered to honor her memory. KCRG TV 9's Mosley Swain talked with them and joins us now live in the studio.
Amanda Parker was one of the founders of the Cedar Rapids Roller Girls back in 2008. Today, members of the team.
As cool as roller derby is, it's not true crime related. Pretty cool though. I love roller derby. We'll watch the rest of that in a minute. I wish we did more on roller derby actually. Isn't there a movie that came out like 10 years ago about doing that thing where they go around in circles and they beat each other up? And I can't remember what it's called, but what a very sad situation. He's now been charged. Let's see if we can find the original story here.
Developing overnight, a Marion man is in custody charged with 1 count of attempted murder after 3 people were found dead in an outbuilding in rural Lynn County. A 4th person was critically injured and taken to the hospital. The sheriff's department says it's arrested 34-year-old Luke Truesdell. He's charged with 1 count of attempted murder. More charges are pending. The investigation continues this morning. The scene is in the 3600 block of East Otter Road. That's north of Robbins and southwest of Alburnett. KCRG TV9's Connor Woodruff joins us live in the studio with what we know so far. Connor.
Well, Chris, and this all started just before 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. This is video from our crew on the scene showing a large response from law enforcement. Now, inside this building is where authorities found 3 people dead and a 4th critically injured. Now, that 4th person was flown to an area hospital where they're being treated for life-threatening injuries. People who live nearby say they heard the helicopter and sirens as responders arrived. This is what Lynn County Sheriff Brian Gardner told our TV9 crew at the scene.
Responders were dispatched here this afternoon a little bit before 4 o'clock on the report of 4 bodies in an outbuilding located at this address. Our first responders arrived to find there were 4 people down in this outbuilding. 3 of them appeared to be deceased. 1 of them was critically injured.
Last night, the sheriff's office said 34-year-old Luke Truesdell of Marion had been taken into custody. They say he's charged with 1 count of attempted murder. So far, a criminal complaint has not been made available. Sheriff Gardner says the investigation is ongoing. More charges are possible.
So the area sort of looks like a mechanic or, you know, someone who does mechanical work. You can see it's a giant barn-like structure. So imagine finding 4 people. Like, what drove him to kill everyone there? It's very odd. I'm trying to find out why or what that area is used for. Here, maybe this will tell us. There's a GoFundMe that was set up. Just trying to quickly read it. Okay, it doesn't really give any information, but her local community for Amanda, the girl in that story before, the local community has rallied together to raise just shy of $10,000 to help her family. I can show you here, actually. There's the GoFundMe for the family. It says here, Amanda Sue Parker's life was taken without warning on June 5th, 2024. I have created this fund to help support the family during this very unexpected and tragic loss. Amanda was kind, compassionate, and a loving soul who has seen a lot of unfairness in this world, didn't deserve to lose her life at 33 years old, and today's financial situation, her family is in need of assistance from our community to help provide her with a proper burial and service. I think that is very tragic. This person decided to just remove all these people from the world. It's very odd. I don't know how many multiple murders we hear of that aren't either firearm related or knife related, but are from bashing with a metal pole or a metal pipe. That I don't know if I hear too many about that. Let me see if I can find anything else about what this area is used for. Because I want to know, it looks like a workplace, something like, I don't know, fixing tractors or, you know, cars or something like that. It says here, we learned and the county attorney has included in his complaint that Mr. Truesdell had admitted to striking people with a metal pipe in and around the face or head, and that appears at this point in time to at least contributed to or led to the cause of death. So that's what they're saying in the paper. Luke Truesdell. Here's a photo of him, actually. Let me see if we can play this one with his photo.
New at noon,
Lynn County investigators say a man may have brutally beat 4 people over the possibility of the crime being made into a movie. Investigators say 3 people, Romondus Cooper, Kiana Ryan, and Amanda Parker, all died from their injuries. Brent Brown is in the hospital in critical condition. 34-year-old Luke Truesdale was arrested and charged with attempted murder and 3 counts of first-degree murder. The sheriff's office believes the victims were hit on the head with a metal pipe. The state medical examiner's office will confirm the exact.
So he partially did it in the hopes that they would turn it into a Lifetime channel / Netflix documentary. I hope they never make one about his crimes and that they just pretend like he never existed. I mean, otherwise you're going to give him what he wants, right? And then he's like, "Hey, it worked. I got my movie." I hope the entire community just remembers the people and they act like he is erased from society and that he has no name, he doesn't exist. His crimes, don't get talked about, but the people that he hurt get talked about. That's a great way to nullify his dream of having a Netflix documentary about his crimes. That is a brutal and stupid reason for killing people. Oh, I want to be a famous killer. I mean, it's not the first time. There's been other killers who were hoping to be famous. So, Laura T says, "Good grief, what a sicko." You can see in the photo here, he's wearing the green thick, what do they call it? What word can I use? I can't use the S word on YouTube anymore, but the turtle thing. They obviously think he might be a bit of a. It's probably procedure. If you get done with murder, they probably do it on purpose. And they probably took all his clothing for forensics. So it is a strange motive, right? Iowa is the state. Iowa. Is it Iowa? Lynn County? Yeah, it is. Iowa. It's actually one of the states I've been to. I've been to Iowa. Beautiful, beautiful state. I loved my time there. It is so beautiful. I went driving on one of the interstates in Iowa, and I couldn't believe how flat it was. You can see like 40 miles in each direction when you're on those big like 8-lane highways. And you can just see forever on the side of it. So this was in the early 2000s, so it's probably a little more built up these days. But yeah, I remember being there. It's a very, very pretty place. Loved it. I don't know if people from Iowa might remember this, but we went to this weird tourist attraction, and it's like an elevator thing, and you kind of go up in it. It's a I don't know what you'd call it, like a carriage. You kind of hop in it, and it takes you up like like a trolley or an elevator. And it was some special thing in Iowa. Don't know what it's called, but we went on it. Yeah, it's an unalive yourself jacket. There you go. A take me out vest. That's a good name. Yeah, so if anyone from Iowa knows what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But yeah, look, it was like imagine like a big wall or something, and you hop into the trolley and it sort of lifts you up to the top level, and then you get off. It was historical. It'd been there for like 100 years. I don't know. We went on it, and then we went to the Field of Dreams. We went to the Field of Dreams out there, and we got to run around the baseball pitch, and yeah, like a sort of like a tram, but it's vertical. It goes straight up and down. That's it. It's not horizontal. It goes straight up to another sort of height. It goes up. On the way to Chicago from PA, Idaho, has many cornfields and is flat. It's crazy. I love it out there. Yeah, like a trolley kind of thing. Yeah, it was supposed to be historical. It'd been there for a long time. Have that in Pittsburgh. Ah, take me out sounds like a tux. It could be a tux. Yeah, actually, hold on. Let me have a quick look and I'll see if I can find it. Although if I use the word trolley, it's probably gonna. Oh, I think I might have found it. Is it phenolon? This might be it. Something like, yeah, this sort of looks like what it was. Let me see if I can show you. This thing, I'm pretty sure this is it. It was in a street like this, and then it was at the end of the street, and you kind of went up the tracks and back down again. Yeah, it's an elevator, and it had been there for, what is it? Yeah, 136 years. Why we went on it, I have no idea. The people we were visiting in Iowa thought it was a good idea. This thing, so you guys can see it on the screen now. Iowa is a flyover state. I like it. I like Iowa. Well, this one I'm pretty sure is in Iowa. Let's see. Yes, it's Iowa City in Dubuque. So it's in Fenelon Place. So you can go there. So if you're in Iowa and you can see the city over here. So they do have them there too. Yeah, it's very much a touristy thing to do. I think it was like $1 or something. It wasn't, and it takes like 5 minutes. You just go up the hill and back down and take a few photos, and that's about it. No women's rights. I think that's a wider issue throughout the United States that needs to be looked at by people smarter than me. Okay, there we go. There's my little story about Iowa. But that doesn't resolve the people being killed in Lynn County. Let me find more about friend of Lynn County woman killed in apparent triple murder speaks out. Did we watch this one? Let's have a look.
Three people in Lynn County in eastern Iowa have shot people across the state.
But it devastated those who knew them personally. KCCI's Amanda Rooker is in studio with more about the victims. Amanda?
Well, Marcus, Stacy, Amanda Parker's colleagues described her as a bright light, a dependable person, always chipper and happy. They expressed frustration and anger and wonder whether she'd still be alive if she'd just left work a little later that day.
It's a loss that's been hard for friends and family to grapple with.
Distraught, upset, angry, very angry. I don't understand how someone could do something to such a kind person.
We weren't just coworkers. We were all family. We still are. Even though she's not here, we'll be thinking about her every day. Hoping to put out there that, you know, she was just fantastic. She was a beautiful person. She was a beautiful soul. She didn't deserve this.
33-year-old Amanda Parker's coworkers at the Old Brick House pub at the Lyndale Mall in Cedar Rapids say she was working on Wednesday, June 5th. And an hour after she left, she was found dead. 44-year-old Ramondus Cooper and 26-year-old Kiana Ryan were also killed at a property in rural Lynn County. 34-year-old Brent Brown was airlifted from the scene, but his dad tells the Cedar Rapids Gazette that his son isn't showing any brain activity. Court documents say the 4 victims were hit in the head with a metal pipe. 34-year-old Luke Truesdale was also found at the scene and admitted to deputies that he was the attacker.
One of the things.
All right, we don't have to rewatch that bit. Did I see the deceased Reese Sebastian? No, probably not. I think I saw something on Trish's thing, but other than that, I haven't really been keeping up with it. I haven't seen anything I would consider, I don't know, worth reporting on. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think it's going to get uglier before it gets better, unfortunately, with the Sebastian thing. I think we will eventually. It's going to take a break in the case, something to come to light where the police can build on it. Someone can find some little tidbit or crumb of information where they can start, stacking them and building the house, right? You start with one brick, then you got to start building the home. And that's the same with a criminal case. They got to start with one brick and then keep going. And I'm hoping eventually they'll find that one brick to finally bring either him home or bring him home anyway, and hold those responsible for his disappearance. It was a real dad. You mean Seth? Seth did a cease and desist? I haven't been watching it. That's how I feel about it too. I feel like it stopped being actually about him about 2 months ago. When the searches and all that were going on, it felt like, okay, we're trying to make a difference. We're trying to help. We're trying to get his name out there, make facial recognition a real thing. The more you see him, the more you might see him on the street and be like, hey, I saw that guy on a true crime channel. They're looking for him. But in the last month to 8 weeks, it feels like now it's just being spun for likes and views and things like that. And you may think, oh, Ping, you're so hypocritical. You have a true crime channel. How can you say that? But it's almost like it goes further than a point of just telling people the facts and what they can do to help. And that's all I really want to do. Wow. I think there's a lot of weird people involved. And each time we have some of these cases, we get to know the people involved a little more intimately. And we develop these kind of profiles of them, right? We get to learn what they're like, what their personalities are, and things like that. And this happens in a bunch of different. This is not the first one I've seen where people have liked someone all of a sudden, then they hate them, and then, oh, they don't like this bit, and it happens with the more exposure they get on social media. So the more shows they go on, the more panels they go on, the more they say, the more they do, the more people can build a sort of, profile of who this person is. And then people obviously judge them or, have an opinion of what they've said or what they do. So that's all I can tell you. Oh, okay. I'll have a look for it. Yes, so that's what I think too. I think it's more about the drama between the different factions, and I'd rather just get back to trying to find the little boy who's missing, right? Not little boy, he's 15 or whatever, but he's still a child. So I'd rather what can we do to further that cause? If someone has a great idea, I'd be all for it. But just talking about minutia and this and that and friggin', oh, this person said this and this person, they used a word, and no, I'm not down for that. I don't want that. No, thank you. I don't want it. But if we have a good way of raising awareness, or we have a way to publicize more searches that people could volunteer for or something, I will gladly do more on Sebastian. Or if there's a way people could help, I'm all for that. If people could somehow donate time or something, any way to get closer to finding him. All right. Sorry, I don't want to make it all about me. That's so scummy of me. Okay, let's go here. All right. Let me see if I can bring up this story from Kentucky. I don't often do a lot of stories from Kentucky, but these kind of stories really scare me because I think we see far more of this happening a lot, including to me. I was on the road the other day, and people yell and scream and threaten to bash you and stuff. It happens even down here. So, Interstate 71 road rage incident near Carrollton kills driver after gunfire exchange. What are people doing out on these roads? A road rage incident in Carroll County left a man dead after he was shot near an Interstate 71 exit between Louisville and Cincinnati. Daniel Schaus was shot by an unidentified driver on Saturday evening, according to the Kentucky State Police. Around 7:05 p.m., a state police dispatcher received a call from Carroll County Dispatch requesting assistance for a road rage incident on I-71. The preliminary investigation indicates two vehicles got off at exit 43 in Carroll County. One of the drivers involved in the incident was speaking with dispatch at the time and advised the other driver was brandishing a firearm, according to a KSP news release. After they exited the interstate, the vehicles were traveling on KY 389 before gunfire was exchanged, killing Schaus. I hope that's his name, but that's how it's sort of spelled. State troopers and other emergency responders arrived on the scene, where he was pronounced dead by the Carroll County coroner. The investigation is ongoing. All for driving on a road. So you drive on a road, you're trying to get home, someone picks a fight with you over, I don't know, they think you were riding their ass, or you cut them off, you wouldn't let them in, whatever, and you don't make it home because they follow you and then they shoot you. I mean, it's scary out there. Be very careful. You're in a similar county but in a different state. Let me see if I can find more about the victim. This Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel. So they don't know the driver. They're saying an unidentified driver. Let's go to WHAS 11. Let's see if they have a update for it. Let's see how many names I got wrong.
Kentucky State Police is investigating after a man was killed in a road rage incident last night in Carroll County. KSP says officers responded to a call off Interstate 71 at exit 43 for reports of a road rage incident involving two cars. According to the preliminary report, the driver who called dispatch said a driver of another vehicle was showing their firearm. After both vehicles exited the interstate onto KY 389, KSP says the situation escalated to the point of gunfire. One of the drivers, Daniel Schaus of Carrollton, was shot by the other driver and was pronounced dead by the Carroll County coroner. KSP Post 5 is leading this investigation.
There we go. I actually got no names wrong. Yay, ping. you didn't get any names wrong. Lexington, Kentucky, yeah. Yeah, had a gun. Oh, you have? What is it kind what kind of town is it? Let me know, because I've never been there. Is it like a city? Is it more rural? Is it a safe place? I have no idea. We have it here. People just get so upset while driving. It's like, will it really kill you to be 10 seconds later to wherever you're going? What is it going to add to your day? That's how I think now. I'm like, I used to get so mad. Like now I just like, it's going to add 1 minute to my day, and all I'm going to do is feel angry for an hour. Like, what's the point? It's not, in the grand scheme of the day, it's like a couple of minutes or something. It's not worth it. It's just not worth getting so upset about driving or traffic or the idiot who cut you off or whatever. Just get to where you got to go in whatever time it takes. It's not going to change, your day or whatever. It's not worth it. Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, it took me a long time to realize that though. I used to get really mad, and then I was just like, I'd rather not be mad all the time. But yeah, please stay safe out there. That is mental. That's not the first road rage killing I've heard of. There's been a bunch of them. That one's very sad though. The fact that he was on the phone to dispatch and trying to get help, and before they could get help, the other guy shot and killed him. And it sounds like they don't know who the other driver is. Is that right? Did I listen to that correctly? That they're still searching for the driver? Where is that article? Come on, article. Where are you? There. Road rage. Yep. Just trying to see if they've actually located him or not. No, okay. Police do not have the driver suspected of shooting the man called Daniel Schaus. They do not have him. KSP said it's an ongoing investigation. So, man, hit and runs are so hard to investigate. As far as I know, the one that happened to our family in Arizona is still not resolved. And that person who killed our family member, I think, is still not charged with anything. They killed our uncle in Arizona about 2 months ago, and still no police. You know, the investigation is not complete, and they haven't placed any charges on the driver, as far as we know. So I get it. I reckon this is probably going to take a while too. Every time you get a hit and run or someone dies in a car accident, they can be very difficult to prosecute. So, yeah. Can you drive with a firearm in your car in Kentucky? Is it legal? Because I know some states it has to be locked in a like a glove in a glove box. You can have a like a lock box that you can have your gun put in and then locked while you're driving. I know some places you have to have that in your car if you want to have a firearm in your car. Some of them you can have it on your hip or whatever. I just don't know about Kentucky. Let's have a look. Yeah, guns in vehicle laws in Kentucky. All right. Kentucky allows any person not prohibited from possessing a firearm to carry a loaded or unloaded firearm in a vehicle in any closed container, compartment, or storage space installed as an original equipment in a motor vehicle by its manufacturer, including but not limited to a glove compartment, a center console, or seat pocket, regardless of whether the enclosed container, storage space, or compartment is locked, unlocked, or does not have a locking mechanism. No person or organization, public or private, may prohibit another person from keeping a loaded or unloaded firearm or ammunition or both in a vehicle. Kentucky forbids any owner, lessee, or occupant of real property, including an employer, from prohibiting the legal possession of a firearm, ammunition, or ammunition component in a vehicle on the property. Kentucky law provides that the firearm may be removed from the vehicle or handled in the case of self-defense, defense of another, defense of property, or authorized by the owner, lessee, or occupant of the property. An employer that fires, disciplines, demotes, or otherwise punishes an employee who is lawfully exercising one of these rights is liable in a civil action for damages and an injunction. So basically, you can keep it in your car as long as you can find a place to put it. That's basically it. As long as you can find a place to put it in a glove compartment or a pocket or a center console, yeah, sure, you can have a gun in your vehicle. Yeah, so just no, yes, you could have it. Wait. Oh, it has to be in any closed container or compartment. I don't know. Does under a seat count as a closed compartment? Maybe it is like a storage box. I don't know. Right, a kid in a car could grab it, because here in the second part it says it doesn't have to have a locking mechanism, so it's not required by law to have a key or a safety latch. You don't have to have it in that particular state. So that makes the road rage killing a lot more sense. Glove compartment, no lock. Yep. Although I have seen some pretty cool ones for vehicles. Ones where you can pull the glove compartment down, and then you can either tap in a code or twist the key, and it flips open and the gun pops out. They're pretty cool. I like those. As an Australian, I am not anti-firearms. I actually believe that people should be able to own one if you want to, but I just think you should be able to own like a handgun, because I think people have a right to protect themselves if they feel they need to. Nanalana says, I grew up with men everywhere where they had their rifles and shotguns on racks inside their rear window. That'd be pretty crazy. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people saying sorry to hear about yeah, there's still no resolution in that particular case. Yeah, I know. I just think there's some situations where they maybe could have ended differently if someone had a way of protecting themselves. We've had some pretty brutal murders, especially of women, where I think possibly if they had something to defend themselves, that maybe they would be still here today. Same with pepper spray. I believe pepper spray should be legal for people to own, especially women. I don't know why women can't buy pepper spray in Australia with such a high rate of women being attacked and being injured by violent crimes. Why can't we give them something to at least make them feel a tiny bit safer walking home at night, or give them a last-ditch effort of protecting themselves? I mean, I know you'd have to somehow find it and then grab it and discharge it, but it's got to be better than no, stop, don't. Like, that's not going to stop anyone. So I actually am very for women owning pepper spray, or I don't know, even maybe a taser. You'd have to convince me on the taser, but anything that would help women be more protective out in public. Diane Marie says wasp spray is good protection, shoots really far. Yeah, get the wasp spray. I don't know. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the pepper spray petition. I think they're at. Is this the original one? There's a couple. Okay, that's the big one. Looks like they're up to about 14,000 signatures. I think they need 100,000, unfortunately, to get any movement in the legal sense. Hold on. All right, I had to cough. I'm still dealing with that cold, just a little bit. Danny Mitchell says, I fear wasps more than muggers. Yeah, makes sense. GJH says, I've lived in LA with no gun my whole life and walked around. Is LA dangerous? I have no idea. I mean, I'm guessing some parts probably are. Yeah, so it looks like they have 14,999 signatures, and it's to allow legalization of pepper spray for the right, I guess for men too, but mostly for anyone who feels like they would need to own it as a personal safety device. Now, they can regulate these. They don't have to be like the police version, like OC spray. It doesn't have to be that strong. It just has to be strong enough to give someone a chance to get away or get help. So it doesn't have to be like blindingly strong where you have to pour milk in your eyes and go to hospital to have your eyes flushed out or whatever. It just has to give a chance. So I don't understand the people who disagree with this saying, "Oh, it could be abused and all that." People abuse deodorant. People abuse vanilla essence. People abuse all sorts of friggin' chemicals and what are those things called? Nitrous oxide canisters. People abuse those, so it's no different, at least to me. Thank you, I appreciate that. I think it's a good idea. The US Amazon pepper spray. Amazon have a Amazon Basics pepper spray? Do they really? That's pretty cool. Amazon Basics pepper spray. Now yours for only $14.99 with 2-day shipping. All right. Shall we get another story? Another story. What do we got? What's on my list? Let's see. Didn't we have like missing people the other day? I forget cases. I read more cases and then I forget the ones I read 5 days ago. So it takes a lot for me to remember. Did we have a missing mum and a baby? I'm trying to remember. Let me have a look at this one. Okay. We could do this one if I can find a decent link for it. There's a woman called Sarah Myers who is missing, but I want to double check whether they found her or not. Sarah Myers. It was on my Twitter list. Let's have a look. "12 hours ago, according to KCTV5." All right. Let me see if I can find this story or not from KCTV5. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's okay. They found them. That's good news. Mother, son believed to be missing from KC Metro found safe. There we go. Okay. That's we've had a few of these this week where we've gone to do a missing person story and I look it back up and they've been found. I'd rather people be found safe than to have another story of like, oh, woman and baby found dead in a car in a parking lot. Like, I don't want to read that. Let's actually listen to it.
Clay County investigators need your help finding a mother and son who've been missing for more than a week. The Clay County Sheriff's Department is looking for 30-year-old Sarah Meyer and her son, 2-year-old Luca. Police tell us the two were most likely in a black 2012 Chrysler 200 with a Missouri license plate TG8R0J. They think the missing pair may be in either Gladstone or Kansas City, Kansas. If you have any information, you're asked to call the number you see right there on your screen. That's 816-407-3700 with 3700 rather, with the extension 0. And over
growing up, Zaylin Washington will tell you the odds were never in his favor.
All right, but they ended up finding her safe and sound, which is great news. They said, let me find it. I keep losing my spot. We've got too many links open. Here. A mother and son believed to be missing from Kansas City Metro have been found safe. The Clay County Sheriff's Office announced on Saturday, June 8, that investigators need the community's help. Well, they don't need the community's help. They were found safe. Here. Investigators announced around 9:20 a.m. on Sunday that both had been found safe. Great news. So it looks like they were only missing for a couple of days. Wait, no, didn't they say they were missing since a week? Okay, they were found, and the announcement was this morning that they had been located safe and sound. Hey, I will take 100 safe and sound stories over, you know, another woman and child being killed every day. Hey, Yuda, how are you? Yeah, is that the one I was thinking of? Hey, Beryl. Missing father. Yes, the one at the airport. The girl. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you. I knew we had a weird one. It was that missing lady. She was going to go overseas with her parents, and then she said she had to use the bathroom, and then she disappeared. And then there was a father with his child, and then they gone missing too. All right, let's have a look. What were their names? Let me see if I can find 4 days ago. Is it Nadia Cole? Nadia Cole? I think it is. And it's the Pullman Police Department. That's right. Aaron Ung. Aaron Ung. Let's see if we got an update. Wonder if they found them by now. You guys are. I'm in the dark just as you guys are. Oh, okay. Huh. It doesn't look like we have an update. Like anything positive anyway. It says FBI police suspect missing toddler taken to Mexico by father and girlfriend. Uh-oh. Police and the FBI believe a missing 2-year-old girl was taken to Mexico by her father and his girlfriend. It's Soraya Harmon was last seen on May 29th, according to police. She was with her father, 21-year-old Aaron Daniel Ong of Moscow. Is it Moscow or Moscow? I can't remember. In Idaho. Hey, that's where the college murders were. And 21-year-old Nadia Cole, formerly a resident of Pullman in Washington. Cole was reported missing on May 29th to the Seattle Police Department after leaving the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Police originally believe Ong and Cole had headed to Montana because he had purchased camping gear and a map book for Montana, but investigators now believe they drove to Mexico in a black 2014 Cadillac XTS with Idaho license plate 1L5147U. Pullman police obtained a warrant on June 5th for his arrest for custodial interference first degree for unlawfully keeping Soraya after she was supposed to be returned to her mother on June 3rd in Pullman. So, no, they are still looking for him. That is not good. Soraya Ong Harmon. Let me see if we can find anything else. Let me check the last, 12 hours. 5 hours ago, Fox 13 Seattle or KHQ News. Yeah, we'll go with Fox 13.
Well, this morning, we're finally hearing from the mom of a 2-year-old girl who went missing in Pullman. A search warrant now out for the girl's father. Police believe he may be on the run with his
Nah, we already read that. I think we've already seen her a bunch of times, right?
fiance, a Seattle.
Let's have a look. Yeah, we've heard from her a lot of times. She's been quite vocal in the media since her daughter went missing. She's been doing interviews all over the shop, which is great. She's done a great job. 21-year-old Aaron Ong. Yeah, that seems to be like the last update was that they believe they've now traveled to Mexico. Doesn't seem to be a lot of updates over the weekend. What about non-stop local KHQ Spokane news?
Sometimes it just doesn't feel real. I'm plagued with nightmares. When I do wake up, I have to remind myself that this is my reality, but that it should. I just remind myself it has to end.
Frightening situation in depth tonight. A 2-year-old and 21-year-old missing. Now, an arrest warrant has been issued for the father tonight. He is also engaged to another woman who's been missing since May 28th. Good evening, I'm Sean Owsley. Pullman police issued that warrant, arrest warrant for 21-year-old Aaron Daniel Ong. They are searching for him. He's the father of 2-year-old Soraya Ong Harmon and engaged to 21-year-old Nadia Cole, who you see here. The young girl was reported missing on Monday when she didn't return for a custody exchange with her mother. Cole was reported missing from Seattle on May 28th. Now, Sub Local's John Webb spoke to the mother of the 2-year-old earlier today. Good evening, John. This is a terrifying situation for her.
Yeah, good evening. It certainly is. Samara Harmon, the mother of Soraya, says this does not feel like real life. She says she feels like she's living a nightmare day in and day out. Tonight, Samara and Pullman police seeking your help finding her baby girl.
When I found out that she was missing, it was the worst day of my life. And every day since then has been the worst day of my life.
Tonight, the search is on for 2-year-old Soraya, her father, 21-year-old Aaron Ong, and his fiancée, Nadia Cole. Soraya was supposed to return to her mom, Samara, on Monday. That's when Pullman police called her.
Everything I've never wanted to happen, all of my deepest, darkest fears, worst nightmares, all coming true.
To make matters even worse, Samara says that her baby girl is suffering from severe constipation. She went to the ER last week.
We were advised by the doctor, we being Soraya and I, that if she didn't pass this and soon, she could become septic, which is fatal.
Samara says she gave the medicine prescribed to Aaron before they left. At this point, Pullman police believe Aaron took Soraya and Nadia on a fishing trip in Montana. Where exactly is not clear.
The vehicles normally associated with Nadia and Aaron have been left here, and so they're traveling in unknown vehicles at this time.
Commander Bashir says Aaron Ong has a minor criminal history.
Is this like Aaron at all?
We did have some issues in the past where he would withhold her from me, but he'd never done this. He'd never taken her out of the state. He'd never been this late to drop off. He's always shown up.
The FBI and Moscow police assisting with the search.
You know, he doesn't have a right to take his daughter and prevent the mother from having access. He doesn't have a right to do that.
Aaron Ong is 5'9", 135 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you've seen him, Soraya, or Nadia, you're asked to contact police immediately.
I just want my daughter home. She's still so sick and just needs medical attention. If anybody knows anything, obviously, please come forward.
Soraya was last seen with Aaron on May 29th. Nadia was last seen on May 28th in Seattle. Again, if you know their work.
Disturbing. You know, Laura asked, does Mexico have an extradition treaty back to the USA? Yes, they do. There was a case a couple of months ago where a woman took a child from the father down into Mexico, and the US was it home? It was the US Marshals and the US whatever Home Defense or whatever they're called. They went down there and brought her ass back. They dragged her back to the US. So yes, I believe the Mexican authorities will work with the US authorities. They have a somewhat better relationship these days than say 20 years ago. And if they can find them, they will. That's it. Homeland Security. Sorry, I was having a mental blank. They will drag their butts back here as quickly as they can. So yeah, I can't remember the case, but it was a couple of months ago. It was a woman this time, not a man, and she had taken the child, and it all got resolved in like a week. They went missing. They were missing for about 5 days. Police tracked them down to Mexico, and then the next thing I heard was they had a press conference how they dragged her back to Washington, and yeah, they were able to bring her and the child back. Dad got the baby back, and it was all good. Mia Tucker from Kentucky. Mia Tucker. I don't know that one. Wow, how do you go into court for abandonment but the baby's missing? How does that work? Let's have a look. Says the family of an 8-month-old girl in Kentucky that is missing are headed to court on multiple charges after she couldn't be found. Here's the mom right here. I'll make this bigger for you. Her name is Tesla Tucker, and 30-year-old, she's 29, and 30-year-old Cage Rudd of Reynolds Station, the parents of missing Mia Tucker, are due in court on Monday to face charges of abandonment of a minor, child abuse, trafficking of legend drugs. What is legend drugs? What the hell is trafficking of legend drugs? All right, I want to know what legend drugs are. I think they mean dangerous drugs. I've never heard of legend drugs. Have you? What is legend drugs? I think someone here needs a spell check. Who's been using AI to write their articles? I think you need to get your, interns back in. Trafficking of legend drugs. Okay. Engaging in organized crime. So they're during court. They said after they could not locate the child during a welfare check last week, according to Kentucky State Police. Bro, a comb is like $2 from the dollar store. You can use it. It's not illegal to have a comb. It's illegal to have the drugs, but it's not illegal to have a brush or a comb. If you're nice, maybe someone at the police station will provide you with one. Appearance maketh the man. Come on, my friend. It says here, Mia's grandfather, 56-year-old Ricky Smith, is due in court on the same charges. He is a convicted felon and persistent felon offender. There's a photo of him. He doesn't need a brush or a comb. He doesn't have any left. It's okay. Mia's grandmother, 49-year-old Billy Smith, is arrested on Sunday for a 2023 domestic violence warrant for second-degree assault during the search for the girl. There's her photo. And they said Tucker and Smith are booked into the Ohio County Detention Center. Rudd and Smith are all booked into Davies County Detention Center. Mia, who was last known to be in her parents' care, has brown hair and green eyes. Anyone with information regarding Mia's whereabouts is urged to call KSP Post 16 at 270-826-3312. It says Reynolds Station in Ohio County is 130 miles north of Nashville, Tennessee. There we go. Let's look at our friend with the bad hair. Definite nightmare tonight? Yeah. They're drugs that make you sing wedding songs. Makes sense. I'm just going to read some of the comments. Hey, Amy, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I believe it's a typo because I've never heard of legend drugs. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I would be on the lookout for rats. I'd be like spraying him down in the cell, and then I'd just throw a brush at him and be like, fix yourself up. All right. It's not a funny topic, Ping. It's serious. It's a missing child, 8 months old. Don't make fun of the people who might have heard her. It's wrong, Ping. It's very serious. You have to take these, seriously. Show compassion. Sorry, I don't show compassion to people with bad hair that hurt babies. There we go. There's a cute photo of the little one right there. It's only a little. So where is the child? Is it just missing or? Legend drugs or drugs that need prescriptions. Legend drugs are prescription drugs. That's weird. I've never heard of that phrase. Legend drugs. Never heard of that. Snap Crackle, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything goes well for you, my friend. I really do. It said on the bottom that it was actually dangerous drugs. So I don't know if it was a mistake or a typo or whatever. But down here I'll show you. It says, where is it? Oh no. Trafficking of legend drugs. Hold on, I want to see what the charge is for this. Trafficking drug. Hold on. You guys are right. A legend drug or prescription medication is a drug, chemical, or substance that has been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, hereafter known as the FDA, and can only be distributed to patients if they have a prescription from a licensed medical practitioner as required by federal or state law. Man, I've never heard of that phrasing before. Legend drugs. The jokes write themselves in this particular county. They really do. What is considered a legend drug in Tennessee? It just means any item that federal law prohibits dispensing without a prescription from a licensed doctor, dentist, optometrist, or veterinarian. Veterinarian? I often go to my veterinarian for my drugs. This definition of legend drugs shall not be construed to include blood and blood fractions. Yes, I often like to get my blood fractions done as well. Yeah, where is it? It's interesting they don't give you any idea of where the baby might be. Let's see. She was last known to be in her parents' care. Okay, that's these two jokers here. These two. All right, hold on. Let me search her name again. Mia Tucker. All right, where is baby? Oh, 2 hours ago. Grandmother. Oh, yeah, we saw her. Here she is. I like how they have a sign to tell people, stand here. Is it like people fail to stand between the white lines? And you're like, no, no, no. You have to stand inside the white lines, not outside. And they're like, well, we'll just put a sign up. It says, grandmother of missing Ohio County baby, Owensboro man arrested, suspects to appear in court. But no child charges. Where would they put the baby? Just trying to see if there's anything here. Kentucky State Police said Mia was not with her grandmother. I'm guessing when they arrested the parents said, "Oh, she's with my mom," and then they went over there and the baby was not there. So authorities said that they were entering the Smith residence driveway. They saw Roach throw unprescribed Suboxone under his vehicle. He was arrested along with Smith, who is also in the Ohio County Detention Center. Roach was charged with second-degree possession of a controlled substance and first-degree prescription-controlled substance not in a proper container. That's a very basic holding charge. Prescription controlled substance not in a proper container. They were just like, what can we get him with to hold him? What did we find at the scene? Oh, he didn't have his prescription medication in a childproof bottle. Great, we've got him. We'll get him for first degree prescription controlled substance not in a proper container. That'll get him, and we'll be able to hold him for 48 hours over the weekend. In another update on Sunday, KSP said that Mia's parents, Tesla Tucker and Cage Rudd, and her grandfather, Ricky Smith, are set to appear in the Ohio court on Monday. So, but still no update. Like, they don't even know where the baby is. They don't have an idea. There's no, like, maybe if you look over here, they're just sort of like, if you've seen a baby, call us. There might be more to this that we don't know yet. Yeah, a little bit like Valor. Yeah, I don't think they're following any rules, Danny. Yeah, it's a little concerning that they can't even tell us like where the baby might be or who might have the baby or what happened to it. They're just sort of like, there's a baby missing, and that's all we know. Let me just see if there's anything else on the baby. I want to find out if there's something like anything. All right, hold on. There's not a lot of there's a lot of true crime people doing it. Hey to what's his name? I talk to him on Twitter sometimes. Mr. T-Rev757. Hey, how's it going, buddy? He's a good guy. I talk to him a little bit on and off. Well, at least the little bit I know about him. Or whoever. I don't want to misgender people. But I know that person's mum went missing a while ago, and they put out a public plea trying to find their mother. And I know the true crime community rallied around to help them. That was really cool to witness. And I think they said they found the mum, so that's great. I was really happy about that. I hope the mother is okay. I really do. Angela Connolly says, I hope it's okay, but it doesn't look good. Well, babies tend to need to eat and be like fed and burped and, have medical care and stuff like that. These guys have been in custody for ages now, and there's still no baby. So it's only 8 months old. It's not like it can walk or, just disappear on its own volition. It's concerning. But it's interesting that they've sort of rounded up the family. They've sort of got them all under, in custody. All right, let's see if there's anything else on Mia Tucker. Or Maya Tucker, whatever you want to call it. No, I don't. Other than the grandparents being arrested, I don't have anything else. It looks like all the true crime people are on it though. 901 Lulu, who is Rose, she's been posting about it. Arctic Fox, hey, Arctic Fox has been posting about it. A whole bunch of people have been. Lexington, Kentucky, no, that's not it. It looks like that's about it. That's all really. Maybe we'll find out more on Monday. Once they get them into a court, maybe we'll get a legal document, like a brief of evidence, and we will find out what the police think happened to the little girl. Because it's odd there's no, like, if normally when there's a little child missing, they do this huge push for, like, a search or information, or, like, the baby was last seen on 32nd Street, and we want everyone from 32nd Street between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning to call us and give us any video. But there's nothing like that. It's almost like they sort of know or have a feeling of what has happened. They either can't prove it yet, or it'll get uncovered once they get into court. We'll see. Danny says hashtag losers. I agree. Hashtag losers. I don't know. I think sometimes God hates people who want children and can't have them. And then he's like, yeah, I'll just give heaps of kids to people who are trash. Yeah. You would think all the drug use would make them less fertile, but apparently not. Apparently it makes you super fertile. So that's the key. Do lots of drugs, people, if you want to have a child. No, don't do that. That was a joke. It's not real advice. I'm not a doctor. All right. One more story. One more, and then we're going to get out of here for the night. One more. Actually, I have a more in-depth thing about Rex. Where is it? My desk is a mess. Hold on. I have a little bit more of in-depth. I was reading through this this book. So this is that Mindhunter book by, what's his name? John Douglas. So I was reading through this after the indictment, or not indictment, it was a bail upgrade or supersede or whatever. I was reading in that bail document for Rex Heumann, and they quoted a couple of passages from this book. And I actually read through the passages. Took me a little while to find them because the 1995 copy has a different page order than this one. This is the reissue of it. This one has a completely different page layout to the original first edition. The story that they reference here, Disorganized, and then look at the painting and sexual substitution, it's about 10 pages difference from the different parts in the book. And what I found really interesting is they don't give you the full story in here, in the bail document. They give you the full story in the book, but not in the bail document. They just sort of have a little excerpt here. So I want to read this, and then we'll get to the next case. Says here on page 162, I think it's actually 174 in the reissue. It says here, the book does indeed reference sexual substitution, which is, i.e., penetration with an object, as Douglas describes the rather horrible sexual mutilation and self-pleasure. Sorry, I had to replace an M word there. Over the victim's body, but no intercourse. The penetration with an umbrella and pen were acts of sexual substitution. Now, the ones that they're talking about here, it's a case in this book about a woman who was murdered, and I think she was dumped on a rooftop, and she was sort of displayed in a sort of sexual way, and she had a pen and an umbrella inserted into her lady garden. And then she also had a comb, I think it was a comb or a brush comb, I think, put into her lady garden. There you go. But on the actual flowers, like the plant part, not the inserty part, the other part. So he actually put a comb into her, into her forest. It was very brutal, and I'll see. Hold on. If you give me 1 minute, I'll actually find the correct passage in here. 1 second, everyone. All right, I'm just having a look through it here. I think it's I don't think it's that one. I'm not going to make you guys wait while I do it, but I will look it up. We might do it another night because I'll have to pull all this out and photograph it. I think that would be easier. But it is a very interesting tale about this woman who was murdered. Maybe I can find her name and we can do it like that. 'Cause I'd have to scan through the book. I just know the page numbers that they list on this bail document are not the same. If you have the reissue, I think it's about 5 or 10 pages difference. So work with that if you have a reissue. Let me look. I was just trying to find her name. She has a name, but it was a brutal murder, and then he explains why her murder was done like that, and who it ended up being a guy who escaped from a mental institution and went back to his own apartment where his father lived, and he ended up killing the woman. And yeah, they were able to guess the profile based on a few different things to do with the crime. Hold on. It's not going to let me copy and paste. I'll find it for another night. But I think if you have this book, you would find it very interesting to relate to Rex Heuermann. Why does he find that fascinating, and why the hell would he put it down? Now, one of the victims that, if you read further down in this document, it says here that there was, what's the word they use? They use this interesting word, something like unnatural disturbance of the nipples or something. He did something to some woman's one of the victim's breasts, and then it references this also one mutilation, but also sexual substitution. And I find it interesting, but I have a couple of different thoughts about it. One, is he just reading books and then imitating what he sees in the books to try and throw off investigators? Or is he relating to things he sees in the book because it's things that he does already as a natural instinct to his victims? And that's sort of where my mindset was when I was reading about this, and then I read the book. I was like, I wonder if that is it. Like, is he just reading it and then going, well, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a lot of fun. And it will throw off investigators because I'm smarter than them. Or is it actually like something he enjoys? Like that's something he wants to do to victims? I don't know. Hey, Evil, how are you? Laura T, that is extremely kind of you. I appreciate it. Did you have fun using the super chat thing? Have you heard of a 3-year-old Afghan toddler missing not long after Summer did? Lena. There was a child that was missing. Yes. But I don't remember whatever happened to it. I don't remember if they resolved it or she's still missing. Hold on, I can have a look. I do remember there was another child, but much younger. She was from is it from Texas, San Antonio? Here? Investigators say her was buried in a field behind her. So apparently they received a tip that she was buried in a field behind an apartment complex, an area about half a mile away from where Lena disappeared. Police searched the area but determined that the information was not credible. Here's a photo of her. Here's 2 other photos. Is this the one? No, that's Haley Gillespie. This is not. Wait. No, Haley Gillespie must be the person who wrote it. It is heartbreaking to look at Lena now at 6 years old and still missing. Her family seeing her face. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's go to her poster. I can't remember if this is the right one. Yeah, Lena. Yes. Here. Lena Sadar Kill or Kahil. This is the one that I remember. She went missing December 20, 2021. But I don't remember whatever happened. She must be still missing. Yeah, so they received a false tip, non-credible tip in February this year. I can play you a little thing about it. Actually, while I play this, I'm going to keep looking in that book. Hold on. You watch this. I'm going to read the book.
Wrapped up its latest search effort to find Lena Sardar Keel, who disappeared more than 2 years ago. Investigators had been searching a wooded area as part of a tip they got 2 days ago. KENS 5 reporter Zach Briggs is live with what Lena's family had to say.
Well, the scene's been clear for hours now, and it was just before 1 p.m. when police broke the news to Lena's family that nothing was found. And take a look. We captured the emotional moment when police informed the family, including Lena's father, Riaz, about the absence of any progression on this case. SAPD, the FBI, and Search and Support San Antonio have been scouring this wooded area now for the past couple days, and this comes after receiving a tip regarding Lena's disappearance. Now, today, special equipment was brought in to help pinpoint a specific area for crews to dig. 2 excavators were utilized as well. Now, this was an area that has been searched before, back in the early days of Lena's disappearance back in 2021. And Lena's father, Riaz, told reporters with the help of a translator that he is demanding change when it comes to those in charge of the investigation. Take a listen.
I hope and I want from everyone that they change the detective or the case manager for Lena's case, and I hope and I wish they can find my daughter, Lena.
And just the day before this latest search, Riaz, along with other supporters, had met with law enforcement over at public safety headquarters, expressing concern about what they believe is an absence of communication from police regarding this case. And SAPD today did release a brief statement emphasizing that the tip was not credible and that they do and will continue to follow up on every tip that they receive. For now, we're live on the Northwest Side. I'm Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
It's a practice known as swatting, and Ashton Garcia bragged during online live streams that he couldn't be caught while he called in fake shootings, hostage situations, even.
Actually, I kind of want to listen to this. We did a show on swatting about 2 weeks ago, and I think this might be the same guy that they arrested. They were searching for him across like multiple counties. They had called in a bunch of different task force and stuff to try to find him. He was a prolific person in swatting people online. Really, really, really bad. He almost got someone shot as far as I know. So let's catch up on this one too.
A bomb threat to LAX, but he had a much different tone in federal court today when he said he was part of a toxic online culture, and he apologized for creating real danger with his fake 911 calls.
My mom is bleeding out. My dad's running around the house with a shotgun. I'm hiding underneath my bed. I need help.
Excuse me, where are you?
On the line is Ashton Garcia, describing horrific details to 911 dispatchers.
Evidence Police Service, how can I help you?
Oh my God! Finally, it wasn't working. My mom, she's dying. I accidentally shot her.
But this was all fake, and Garcia was making disguised online calls from his apartment in Bremerton, Washington. When dispatchers figured it out, Garcia laughed at them.
You're doing threats that are terroristic and that they can go beyond the borders of Canada, is what I'm telling you. Oh, that's wild. I'm a terrorist. You're right. I am a terrorist. Okay.
But Garcia was caught, and he wasn't laughing in federal court when he learned he'd spend 3 years in federal prison.
We're not really sure still why he targeted our community.
Commander Daniel Grispino of the Shaker Heights, Ohio Police Department came to Tacoma to attend Garcia's sentencing.
With these incidents, you can't just have it a slap on the wrist.
Grispino talked to Garcia during a fake hostage situation in 2022.
He was basically taunting and mocking us that day.
It was a hoax.
Yeah, that's funny though.
People in the online community recognized that this behavior wasn't okay, and they came forward to law enforcement anonymously.
Federal prosecutors say Garcia knew he was hurting other people, and this fact did not dissuade him. It delighted him. Terrorizing other people was not merely incidental to his criminal behavior, but rather the entire point.
And we're committed to holding people accountable. So even though he believed that he wasn't going to be caught, certainly we were able to investigate, and law enforcement did a great job of finding him.
In Seattle, Jeremy Harris, Como News.
Das Song promised that there.
Sorry, there you go. Yeah, I'm glad that the authorities are taking a bigger interest in the swatting type of stuff. There's been a few arrests this year from people who have been involved in these online groups who want to swat people, live streamers mostly. Pretty bonkers. Beryl, that is very kind of you. Beryl says, I've never done a super chat before. I'm glad you chose my channel as the first one to try. It's pretty cool. We've only had it for about a week now. It's a fun thing, and people prefer that over the these things here, the Ko-Fi and the PayPal. So I'm happy to provide that, and thank you for the support. I very much appreciate it. We try and do as much as we can every day for you. Dr. William Husel from Ohio is believed to kill almost 35 people in hospital. Those ones really disturb me The ones that like are medical practitioners who murder people, kind of like that girl in England who killed all the babies. That case makes me so angry. I don't know why we never did it, but I followed that trial and all the details and the doctors, and then the doctors started figuring out like, hey, there's something a little weird going on here. The scary thing is that they actually defended her for a period of time. They were like, no, no, she's a great nurse. Like, oh, she loves babies. Like, she wants to see them live, and she ended up being the one who was murdering them. It's pretty freaking crazy when you think about it. So I did find that while we're listening to those two videos, I did find that murder, and I found an old newspaper clipping. I hope this is the right one. Yes, it is. So it's really, really old, 1979. I wish I could make this a little bigger. I don't know if I can. Oh, yeah. So it says, clues in hunt for mutilation. Is that where you kill a cow? Mutilation. Mutilation is, yeah, it's definitely cow murder. Says here, a dozen detectives scour a quiet middle-class Bronx neighborhood yesterday, hunting for clues in the mutilation murder of 26-year-old Francine Elson. Elson, a small, frail woman who worked in a daycare center, was killed Friday morning in the well-kept Williamsbridge apartment building where she lived with her mother. And they say Detective John Cully, commander of the 47th Precinct Investigating Unit, said she left her fourth-floor apartment at around 8 a.m. Friday. Although the building has an elevator, she usually walked down the stairs. Police believe the killer accosted her on the stairway or in a hall, and he forced her to accompany him to the top floor landing of the 6-story building. There, police said he R-worded her, S-worded her, with a mised on the end, S and then mised, and then the mutilation, and then robbed her and killed her. It was pretty brutal. They said, pending the results of an autopsy, detectives said the apparent cause of death was strangulation. They also believe the killer was armed with a knife. He wrote on his victim's chest with a ballpoint pen, but investigators declined to give any details. I can actually tell you what he wrote. Hold on. Hopefully I'm on the right page. Let me see if I can find it. All right, let me go to this next page. It's definitely on the right one. Here. On her thigh, the killer had scrawled, "You can't stop me." On her stomach, he had written, "F you." The other significant feature of the scene was that the killer had defecated near the body and covered the excrement with some of Francine's clothing. One of the things Miss Elson told police was that, was that a gold pendant in the form of the Hebrew letter, is it Chi? I hope it is, for good luck, was missing from around Francine's neck. When the mother described the shape of the pendant, detectives realized her body had been ceremonially positioned to replicate it. So he positioned her the same way as her necklace. Traces of semen were found on her body, but DNA typing was unknown to forensic science back in 1979. There were no defensive wounds on the hands or blood traces or skin fragments under the fingernails, which suggested there had been no struggle. The only tangible piece of forensic evidence was a single African American hair found on the body during autopsy. That ends up being a red herring. The African American hair was actually from a body bag that had been used to transport a different murder victim in a body bag, and it hadn't been cleaned properly. So they actually describe in this book how while forensics are great tools, sometimes, things are not perfect, and that you can't always, use everything as this is a smoking gun, so to speak. You have to have more information and more clues. So Let me just see if there's anything else here. So here, Francine's nude body had been severely beaten by blunt force trauma, so severely that the medical examiner later found her jaw, nose, and cheeks had been fractured and her teeth loosened. She had been spread-eagled and tied with her own belt and nylon stockings around her wrists and ankles, though the medical examiner determined she was already dead when this had been done to her. Her nipples had been cut off after death and placed on her chest. Her underpants had been pulled over her head to cover her face, and bike marks were on her thighs and knees. Several lacerations all over the body, all of them shallow, suggesting a small penknife. Her umbrella and pen had been forced into her lady canal, and her comb had been placed in her lady forest. There you go. Her earrings had been placed on the ground, symmetrically on either side of her head. The cause of death was determined to be ligature strangulation with the strap of her own pocketbook. And then there was also that writing that happened. They were sort of worried for a minute that it was like another Son of Sam type killing because of the, you can't catch me and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what they quote in that document for Rex Human, at least part of it. So, put them side by side and then make your own conclusions as to why he's so interested in that particular passage in the book. And then we do hear stuff later on in that document where he's like, more quiet equals more, more sleep, and more quiet equal more playtime. And make sure you put up drop sheets and pin them to the roof. Don't use tape. That's just brutal. One of the things I didn't mention when we did the show on Human was this, and I don't know why I didn't read this out, but there's a bit here about how to assemble a table here. It's the pre-prep, prep, and post-event. So the prep thing, set up the stage. That's freaky. Set up a stage? Like this is some sort of big theatrical type of thing? A holding area. Holding area. Not like bedroom so I can have sex with the prostitute I just hired. A holding area. Build table. Add a crossbar. So a crossbar is used for added support for a human weight, probably for his weight too, hopping on the table, I'd guess, and a hard point, probably something like in the wall or something, maybe is what I was thinking. So you could attach ropes or pulleys or something. This guy, man, and then you hear that passage I just read you, and you hear this stuff. It's concerning. And what's interesting is, why is there so many? Why, if he has that murder assigned to him from 1993 now, what happened the rest of the time? Did he just not kill people from 1993 all the way to 2001? Was he just not killing? I don't know about that. I think that's interesting. How are they able to give you a blow by blow of what to do? Yeah. Laura T, are you going, my friend? Oh, good night. Thanks for everything, Laura. See you. We're just wrapping up. I just wanted to bring this up because we hadn't done it the other day. And I told people we'd do a little bit tonight. All right, fine. We'll end on something that's not as gruesome and not as perverse. Where's my animal stories? All I'm saying is maybe have a read of that passage and the other one at page 185 in the revision, and leave a comment in my video comments and let me know what you think. Just because I've been reading it all weekend, and I find it very fascinating that he's so, he's so interested in what John Douglas has to say about these, probably at the time in 1979, very out there type of murders, very gruesome, very sexualized. All right. Let me see. Where is my ping. Is it in here? Loki, Bunny, Jet, Loki, Frankie. Oh, okay, we got another folder. I don't know. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, okay. We got one called Frankie the Bird. Frankie the Bird. Okay. We could do that. How do I download this? All right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to somehow... Sorry, Dropbox can be a bit of a pain in the bum sometimes. Okay. So I want to do this one. I know who this is. This is actually I'm going to keep their identity secret. You know, I'm going to keep their identity very secret. And then okay. I hope this is the right one and this is not a draft. This is pretty funny though. Okay. Sorry, it's a white screen and I don't have too much choice about that. I hope is Reby still here? Reby, are you still here? Let's see if Reby's still here. Reby. See if she's still in the chat. I just want to double check with her that this one is ready to go. When was the last time we saw her? Is it a while ago? She might not be here. I'm going to run with it, and if she yells at me, then... Oh, no, she's here. Reby, is the Frankie one ready to go? Can we use that one? Is that one okay to go with? Let's see what she says. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you back from whatever you were doing. Yeah, it's got photos of the budgie. It's a short story. It's got like a photo of the bird and then a short story on it. There's actually two. There's two. There's one called Frankie's Revenge and then another one called Frankie Smells. Sorry, we're just checking. We should have done this before the show. But we'll see. We'll see what she says. I think she's probably checking the Dropbox. Oh, you're at the supermarket. Okay. I'm just going to run with it. And if it's no good, we can just update it next week. I think it looks all right. It's got photos and it's got the budgerigar. Yeah, okay. Frankie Smells is the first one. And then Frankie's Revenge is the second one. Okay, cool. All right, we'll run with that. All right, this is going to be the final story for tonight. Going to do a pet investigation. Dun dun dun. It's Ping's pet investigation back again after a month break. more Geneva Convention violations of pets killing people with weapons. Oh my god, it's going to be a classic case on Ping's Pet Squad. All right, let's do it. All right, so Frankie Smells is the first one. Sorry, it's bright white. Hopefully we're going to change these to black or black or gray over time. So it says Frankie Smells, and it says there's A. It says, in a cozy house nestled within the bustling city of Parramatta, Frankie the budgerigar woke up one crisp morning to the sound of silence. Usually the chirping of the morning birds outside his window would greet him, but today there was an eerie stillness that hung in the air. There's a photo. Stretching his wings and shaking off the remnants of sleep, Frankie hopped to the edge of his perch and surveying his surroundings. Everything seemed normal at first glance, but as his keen eyes scanned the room, he noticed something peculiar, a figure perched on a nearby branch that certainly hadn't been there before. Frankie cocked his head to the side, studying the newcomer with curiosity. The figure looked remarkably like him, with vibrant blue feathers and a bright, inquisitive gaze, yet there was something off about it. Its feathers were flat and bizarre, and there was a strange stench emanating from it. "Who are you?" Frankie chirped, fluttering closer to get a better look. The figure remained silent, unmoving. Growing increasingly puzzled, Frankie continued to inspect the strange visitor. It wasn't until he was mere inches away that he realized the truth. It wasn't a living creature at all. Instead, it was a soft, plush toy, fashioned to resemble him in every detail. A wave of realization washed over Frankie as he recalled the mischief his father often indulged in. It seemed that this time his father had taken his pranks to a whole new level. Anger flicked in Frankie's eyes as he realized he had been tricked. His father had placed a fake budgie in his living quarters as a joke, no doubt expecting a reaction. But instead of feeling defeated, Frankie felt a surge of determination. With a defiant chirp, he hopped onto the branch beside the fake budgie and peered at it with disdain. Though it may have looked like him, it would never possess the spirit or charm that made Frankie who he was. And with that, Frankie decided to turn the tables on his father. With a mischievous glint in his eye, he began to plot his revenge, knowing that he would never let his father forget the day he was outsmarted by a budgie. So, there you go. That's pretty funny. Is that a real photo of the fake budgie near him? There you go. You guys can see it. That is I can imagine how confused a bird might be. It would be like, why is it not moving? What is going on? Oh, I've got part 2 up too. I just wanted to show people the photo. I don't think it's Danny's. I don't think so. No, it's not Danny. Danny doesn't live in Parramatta. It's someone else from the chat. It's another guy. All right, here. We're gonna fix these though. I'm gonna turn these into like dark black, but with white writing, so it's not as blazing hot for people watching late at night. We're gonna do something like that, or grey with like, I don't know, some color. So it says, now we're on to the second part, Frankie's revenge. It says Frankie knew that he had to pull off something unforgettable to truly leave an impression. On this day, he started small. Frankie quietly observed from his perch while Sean prepared his usual coffee cup with careful timing. He waited until Sean had turned his back to grab a spoon. Seizing the moment, Frankie swooped down and with a quick flick of his tail feathers, deposited a tiny, well-aimed dropping right into the steaming cup. Oh, Sean, what did you do? Sean turned back just in time to see the offending addition to his drink. His face contorted in a mixture of surprise and disgust as he realized what had happened. "Frankie!" he exclaimed, holding the tainted cup at arm's length. The budgie perched innocently nearby, chirped in what could only be described as smug satisfaction. But Frankie wasn't done yet. His ultimate prank was still in the works. Later that afternoon, while Sean was out running errands, Frankie flew to the phone. Using his beak and talons, he managed to dial 000, which is 911 down here. When the operator answered, Frankie mimicked the sound of distress he'd heard on TV shows. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough to convey alarm. "Help, man, keep me, save me." That is interesting. Within minutes, sirens wailed outside the house as police cars pulled up. Officers rushed to the door, ready for a rescue mission. Sean arrived home just in time to see the commotion and confusion etched across his face. His front door was open and police were rushing towards him. The police took Sean into custody, handcuffed him, and threw him into the back of a paddy wagon. What the F is going on, thought Sean. The police had no time for him and locked him away without explanation. Looking through the window at this, Frankie knew he had taken it a little too far, but still glee in pulling off such a daring prank. The police searched the house and noticed a budgie sitting quietly in the corner with what looked like a smile on his face. Strange, he thought. I'd never seen a bird smile before. When no one was found in the house, the police returned to Sean for more information. "Where is he?" the officer yelled. "Where are you keeping him?" "Keeping who?" retorted Sean. Then the penny dropped. Sean knew it was Frankie and tried to explain. "I keep Frankie," replied Sean. "Where are you holding Frankie?" yelled the police. "He should be in his cage." "A cage?" the police officer replied. "A cage?" Yes, his cage. Frankie is a budgie, Sean replied. A bird. The police officer was a little skeptical. The officer returned to the house and found the home phone off the hook and small blue feathers stuck to it and on the tabletop. Maybe Sean was telling the truth. The blue budgie sat on his perch in his open cage, preening his wing feathers and looking directly at the looking at the officer with his guilty black bead eyes. There you go. There you can see the black bead eyes there. Look, right there. Look at that, staring right at you. It's you know he knows what you're up to. After many apologies, the situation was resolved. The police left, slightly amused, realizing it was all due to a prankster bird. Sean looked at Frankie sitting atop his cage with an air of accomplishment. Despite the chaos, Sean couldn't help but laugh. You win, Frankie. You win. From that day on, Sean kept a closer eye on Frankie, knowing that his clever little budgie was always one step ahead, and while Frankie's pranks continued, they became a source of amusement rather than frustration, cementing the bond between father and feathered son. There you go, the story of Frankie. Look at this cheeky laugh right here. You can tell he's laughing at Sean and being arrested by police. You can just tell. He's like, sucked in, Dad. You're getting arrested. I did it. You'll never get me again with a fake plush budgie. Yes, it's Mr. Sheep's bird. Mr. Sheep. Sean the sheep. Angela says, oh no, my cat called 999 and they wouldn't believe me that it was my cat. I only realized when I could hear a woman talking, what emergency service do you require? Oh my God, that would be pretty bad, right? I mean, I've heard of other animals calling emergency services before. It does happen, and I don't know how you get out of it at the end. Luckily, Sean was able to. But I leave you with the laughing face of Frankie. Look, laughing at you all. Laughing. He'll be laughing forever. All right, that's it for tonight. Hey, if you have a pet story that you want to relay on the Sunday show, we only do it on the Sunday show. You can contact Rebe. Hold on. Let me grab her email. If you have a pet who's done something and you want to shame them on this channel, or you just have a story about how naughty they've been and you just want to share it, you have to share it with the whole world, otherwise you're going to go crazy. Send it to this email, rebefromchat@gmail.com, and we'll work on publicizing some way. We've done a few different ones. We've done court cases, we've done police affidavits, we've done arrest warrants, and we've done a lot of cats. We've done now a bird. Did we have another animal? We've had a few different ones. So it can be anything. It can be a rabbit, a cat, a dog, a horse, a giant platypus. If you have a giant platypus and it's very naughty, you could write in. We'd be okay with it. Yeah, so there you go. Thanks to Rebe for procuring these and writing them up. She does a great job. Look, there's Sean. I always knew he had no face. I just, I didn't want to say anything. It seemed offensive to say it on air. Hey, I love you all. Oh, a cat and a puppy are next. Okay, cool. We'll do those in the coming weeks. Hey, I love you all. Unfortunately, we are out of YouTube jail, but I am so petrified to run the video in case we get a strike. Hold on, I'll see if I upload it. I'll see if it works. Because if we get one more strike, we're done. I won't be able to live stream for about 3 months, apparently. They say it's resolved, so we'll give it a go. Is this the right one? Come on. Hold on, let me check it's got the right names. 1 second, we're not going. It doesn't look like the right one. Apparently it's resolved. They sent me an email saying that... Did you get the email with the original music? No. I didn't get an email from you. Hold on. No, I haven't heard from you for a while. I'm just having a look through my email now. The last person I spoke to was DJ. DJ, I see. Yeah, sorry, it came from, yeah, I see it now. Sorry, it came from your other email. Got it. Yes, I got it now. Okay, thanks. Sorry, I didn't reply. That's how rude am I? You don't think I should risk it? I don't know what we're gonna do then, because people really like the ending video. I just don't know if anyone actually. I'll do this. If anyone knows how to stop this issue, please email me. I'll put my email on the screen. If anyone understands how to stop this issue with Canva and why when you have licensing for music and then run it on YouTube, you get a copyright strike or a copyright hit. Why does that happen and how do you stop it? Because everything's linked. I have my entire Canva account linked to YouTube and I download a new license every night. So every night I go through the donations and I add the new names to the video and then I download it again, which generates a new license for it, which should allow me to play it just for that night. And then in the afternoon for the late show, I download a second one. So every day I download 2 videos to get 2 licenses every day. I'm at a little bit of a loss for words about why it keeps getting hit every time I use it, except I want to show you something just before we go. I got a weird email from YouTube, right? I got all these copyright strikes, and then I got this weird email, and it said something like, "Oh, the video that like this, the one that we normally get done for, it's called Ode to something. That music that you're using, the copyrights have been rescinded, but it only rescinded about 3 of them and not the 20 it got." So, freaking YouTube. It only took away 3 copyrights for some reason. Where is it? I can't find it, but yeah, it was not long after I got a whole stack of emails about being copyright hit for using that song. They rescinded 3 of them, but not the others. I had to appeal it. I had to appeal 20 videos. I had to appeal every single one manually. I've asked Canva. Canva said there should be no problem and I'm doing it the right way. I asked YouTube. All they did was just remove the copyrights. That's all they did. And I was like, if I do it again, am I going to get copyright struck again? They're like, oh, maybe. They're like, oh, use music that you own the license to. I'm like, I do own the license to it. I pay for it every month. Like, I'm part of Canva Pro. So I don't know. It's frustrating. We'll see. Maybe what we can do is maybe I'm just going to run it without the music for a while. I know the music is really nice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the music out, and I'm just going to run it as the video for a little while until I can get a solid answer on what's going on with the music portion of it. Because we used to run the video for 9 months with no music, and we never got any copyright. So, all right, we'll do that. I'll strip the music. Can we use it? Is it copyrighted by anyone? Or is it from... I have some free music too. I downloaded a free music pack. Canva Music doesn't give you the rights on YouTube. They said it did. Hold on. Hey, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing okay too. Excited utterance. Good to have you. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Here. Yeah. So this is the instructions for it. So to avoid content ID claims on YouTube when using Canva Pro audios, simply link your YouTube account to Canva before publishing your design. So you can do it like this. I'm not a Canva free user. I'm Canva Pro. So for copyright relations, see, that's it. For copyright related questions for pro audio, contact support team. I did. They're just like, oh, make sure you download a new license every day. I don't know. I'm just going to strip the music and we'll try and find some other free music. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'll look more into it. Yeah, I didn't get any straight answer out of YouTube. They told me basically it's my fault. Okay. I'll look more into it because as soon as the channel became monetized, I got a flood of emails from copyright strikes from like the last, I don't know, 5 months or something. Use it in the creator section, yeah, I know what you mean, in the creator section. All right, I'll look more into it. Maybe for the next few nights, I'll just strip out the music and then I'll work on getting some rights-free music attached to it. It's a real pain in the bum. Yeah, it really is because we'd used the same video for a long time. Never had an issue until the channel changed and we got where we became YouTube partner program. And as soon as it hit that, everything just went sideways. So I appreciate the advice. I'm going to keep looking into it. But that's really horrible if that's the truth because it's not exactly super cheap. I think it's like $28 or $26 a month or something. I mean, that's not a lot of money, but it is for what it is. It's just a editing software. It's a lot per year. So the reason it's supposed to be fun is because you get the audio and all that, and it's supposed to give you a license, which makes the $26 a month worth it. But if you can't use it, Anyway, excited utterance. I will look more into what you're talking about. That's true. I mean, you do get the pro images and all that. They're expensive. All right, we'll figure it out. Me and Reby will figure it out, and we'll try and come to a better solution. Because yeah, I was on my second. I think they rescinded them, but I was on my second strike. And if you get a third one, you lose your channel for, I think, is it forever or a few months or something? I don't even know. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Hey, I love you all. I'm just rambling now, and you guys should go to bed. It's late. Hold on, wait. We got one more. My friend Peekaboo Cockatiel. She sent this in earlier, and I didn't mention it. She said, "Ping, thank you for all you do. I appreciate you to help you carry on." Thank you, Peekaboo Cockatiel. I appreciate it. That is very, very kind of you. I appreciate you. Thank you for all you do for me. Yeah, I won't get a third strike. It's all right. We only played it for like 2 seconds before. It has to be over 10 seconds anyway. Hey, I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be, it's Monday, so that means it's a 9 p.m. show and then a midnight Eastern show. So 2 shows tomorrow. I'll be back and hopefully we'll have a solution soon so we can keep live streaming every day. Until then, peace out. See you later. Have a great rest of your Sunday or Monday if you're in Australia. King's birthday, long weekend. If you get a day off today, that's cool. And I'll see you tomorrow night. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.